Happy celebration, my people. God bless everyone. Wonderful, wonderful. Big arms, big smile, big laugh, hugging people, patting backs. The warm, funny, lovable side of Brother Musa that the whole village outside the compound enjoyed, while only his compound knew the other half of the story. Listen, no, listen. Come and sit down. Move closer. I have a story for you today that will make you laugh until your stomach hurts. I want to tell you about a man called Brother Musa. This man was trouble. Not small trouble. Big, loud, everyday trouble. The kind of man who could walk into a peaceful place and within 5 minutes, everybody is fighting. The kind of man who sees a quiet afternoon and says, something must be wrong. He caused more problems in Bagada village than rain, more confusion than NEPA, and more headache than owing money. But then, Ramadan came. And for 30 days, this same Brother Musa became so quiet, so calm, so gentle, that the village herbalist came outside and said, I don't know what happened, but I didn't do it. The pastor said, I have been praying for this man for 6 years. God finally answered. The Imam said, this is the power of fasting. All three of them were busy sharing credit like they won a contract together. But wait until you hear what happened the morning Ramadan ended. You will laugh, you will shake your head, and you will thank God that Brother Musa is not your neighbor. Now, this man's real name is Musa Tunde Balogun, but nobody called him that. The village called him Brother Musa, a name he gave himself, by the way, because nobody else was going to give him a nice title for free. The man was wide, not tall, just wide. When he walked down the road, chickens moved out of his way. Not because they were afraid of being stepped on, although that was also possible, but because Brother Musa walked like the road was his personal property and everybody else on it was trespassing. He walked with his chest out and his arms away from his body, like a man who just finished carrying something heavy. He walked like this every day. He had not carried anything heavy in a long time. That was just how he walked. God gave it to him and he was using it fully. And his voice, when Brother Musa talked at normal volume, 3 houses could hear everything. When he shouted, which was his normal setting, the way he came from birth, birds in the mango trees far away would fly off. Not because birds understand Yoruba, but because the sound alone shook them. Those birds had done nothing wrong. Brother Musa relocated them against their will every morning. Now, Brother Musa had a wife called Zeinab. She was small, quiet, and patient. She had been married to this man for 16 years, and she survived by faith, by stubbornness, and by training her ears to stop hearing certain things, mainly the sound of Brother Musa complaining, which meant her ears were resting for about 20 hours every day, because this man complained about everything. Sun too hot, rain too much, dry season too dry. He complained about wind, about harmattan, about humidity, and one day he actually complained about the silence. He said it was suspicious. This man found fault in quiet. He looked at a peaceful afternoon and decided something was wrong. He was a professional. His gift was just not useful to anyone. The neighbors in the compound had all found their own ways to survive him. Alhaji Sule, a retired teacher, 70 years old, had learned to read his newspaper while Brother Musa shouted right beside him, turning pages slowly, like a man in a quiet library. People actually came from other compounds to watch him do this. It had become something to see. Mama Biodun, the compound #1 reporter and gossip, always had somewhere urgent to go whenever Brother Musa started. She had a long list of emergency errands ready at all times. Oh, I just remembered I need to check my soup. She used this excuse on days when she was not cooking anything at all. Not even water was on fire. Babalanre, the night driver, had bought a second pillow just to put over his head during Brother Musa's morning noise. It helped about 30%. He was grateful for the 30%. And then there was Iyagba, 81 years old, sitting outside her door every morning with her fan, completely unbothered by Brother Musa. She was the only person in the whole village who could look him in the eye when he was in full noise mode and say just 2 words, calm down. And he would actually calm down. Nobody could explain this. The village had just accepted it the way you accept rain. It happens. Nobody knows exactly why. Now let me tell you the specific trouble this man caused so you understand what kind of person we are talking about. In 2019, Babalare's goat walked into Brother Musa's side of the compound and ate some vegetable leaves near the door. A normal person would say, Babalare, your goat ate my leaves. Brother Musa called a compound meeting. He drew a map. He brought witnesses. He talked for 45 minutes about goats, property, the history of his vegetable garden, and why goat owners in Nigeria have no sense. The leaves cost 200 naira. The meeting lasted 2 hours. 200 naira, 2 hours. The goat itself looked sorry. Then in 2021, he decided people were abusing his generator and wrote 7 rules on paper in capital letters and stuck them on the compound wall. Rule 7 said all generator users must say thank you to the generator owner when light comes on. That one rule caused 2 weeks of wahala. People were refusing to say thank you on principle. It had become a matter of pride. Then in 2022, he accused Mama Biodun of sweeping her dust into his side of the compound. He drew a chalk line on the ground to show where his side ended. Rain washed it away. He drew it again. Rain washed it again. He drew it a 3rd time with paint. The landlord was called. Big shouting happened. The paint line is still there today. It is now a landmark. And for 4 years, he had been enforcing his own personal rule that he was first at the well every morning, always first, no matter who arrived before him. He made this rule himself. Nobody gave him the authority. He just took it. The village had a saying, if you want to find trouble, follow Brother Musa. It is never far behind him. The village chief had sorted out 3 fights involving this man in just 1 year. The chief's wife quietly said, can we just build a wall around his compound? The chief said that is not how things work. She said, then find another idea because this man is making me old. This was Brother Musa. Trouble confirmed. Evidence recorded. Case closed. And then Ramadan came. Day 1 of fasting, Brother Musa woke up before sunrise, cooked his own food quietly, ate and went back to his room. No noise, nobody disturbed, nothing broken. Zeinab came out of the bedroom, saw that the kitchen had been used and cleaned, and stood in the doorway without moving for so long that Mama Biodun, passing outside, knocked on the window and whispered, "Are you okay?" Zeinab nodded slowly. She was okay. She was just trying to understand what she was seeing. Day 3, Brother Musa came outside, greeted Alhaji Sule nicely, looked at the compound path, went back inside, came back with a broom and swept the whole path. By himself, without anyone asking, without a meeting, without drawing lines about whose side was whose. He just swept it and went back inside. Alhaji Sule put his newspaper down. He looked at the swept path. He looked at the door. He picked his newspaper back up. He could not read one single word for 15 minutes. His mind was not there. By day 5, Mama Biodun had called an emergency meeting. Something has happened to Brother Musa, she said. We have seen it, said Alhaji Sule. He swept the compound. He asked how my shop is doing. He has walked past that shop for 4 years without one time looking at it, and now he wants to know how it is going. Baba Lare said quietly, he knocked on my door and said sorry for the generator noise that has been disturbing my sleep. Brother Musa said sorry for noise to me. All 4 of them sat without talking, trying to digest this information. Then, Iya Agba, who had been fanning herself calmly through all of this, said, the fasting has opened something in him. Let it open. Don't ruin it by talking too much. And she went back to her bench. But the wonders did not stop there. In week 2, Brother Musa went to the market and came back with garden eggs, which he left quietly at Iya Agba's door. No reason. No announcement. She had said one time that she liked garden eggs. He remembered. He bought them. He told nobody. Mama Biodun found out because she was watching from her window. As always, it is her gift. Then Brother Musa went to Baba Lare and said, I owe you an apology for the goat matter in 2019. The goat ate 200 naira of leaves, but I wasted 2 hours of everyone's time. I am sorry. Baba Lare's goat had been dead for 3 years, buried, gone, and Brother Musa was apologizing about it now during Ramadan. Baba Lare shook his hand, went inside, sat on his bed, and just stayed there, not knowing what to do with himself. Then the generator miracle happened. Every evening, Brother Musa would start the generator, go inside, and close his door. No petrol, no checking sockets, no rules on the wall, no thank you requirements. Mama Biodun ran 4 phone chargers one night, 4, and heard nothing. She told Alhaji Sule, and he said, don't push your luck. But even he quietly plugged in his old radio that had been sitting dead for months because he was too afraid of Roll 7 to ever use it. The whole compound was free. People using full fan speed, charging everything, fetching water in whatever order they arrived, walking the path without tiptoeing. It was freedom. 30 days of sweet, unexpected, confusing freedom. And then Brother Musa fixed the gate. The broken compound gate that had been hanging on one hinge for 3 years. The gate the landlord had been promising to fix since forever. Brother Musa bought the materials, borrowed tools, and one Saturday morning he fixed it by himself, in the heat, without telling anyone, without waiting for praise. When the compound woke up and saw the gate opening and closing smoothly, everyone went quiet. Then Mama Biodun screamed, a shock scream. Alhaji Sule walked to the gate and opened and closed it 3 times, slowly, like he was checking if it was real. Baba Lanre came outside in his sleeping clothes, looked at the gate, looked at Brother Musa's door, looked at the gate again. Even Yagba walked from her bench and touched the gate with her hand like she needed to be sure. Then she called Brother Musa outside. He came out looking a little embarrassed. She looked at him for a long time and said, "This is who you are when you allow yourself to be. Don't lose this." He said nothing. He looked at the ground. Then he went back inside. Mama Biodun was crying. She would deny this until she dies. The tears were there. Many people saw them. The whole village noticed. Mama Funke, the bread seller, told everyone. Brother Musa greeted me this morning and asked how my bread business is going. I almost gave him bread for free from shock. The palm wine seller said, he said good morning in a normal way. He has walked past my stand for 6 years without looking at me once. The village chief heard everything and said, tell me where Ramadan ends. I need to settle 3 disputes with that man before his good behavior finishes. The chief's wife said, finally, after 6 years of prayer, a fasting month did what I could not. And the pastor, the Imam, and the herbalist were still arguing about whose prayer worked. Week 3, Brother Musa called a compound meeting, a real one, and suggested splitting the generator fuel cost, fixing the well, and making a fair kitchen cleaning plan. The whole compound agreed so fast the meeting finished in 20 minutes. 20 minutes! The GOAT meeting of 2019 lasted 2 hours for 200 Naira. This one solved 3 big problems in 20 minutes because Brother Musa came with sense instead of noise. And in the evenings, he would sit outside with Alhaji Sule and they would just talk. About life, about the village, about everything. Alhaji Sule, who had spent years hiding behind a newspaper to avoid this man, discovered that behind all the noise, there was actually a man with real sense and good ideas. He told his wife, the man is not foolish. The noise was just covering something real. Fasting removed the noise and the real person came out. Zeinab moved through those 30 days carefully, like a person walking through a nice dream who is afraid to breathe too hard in case it ends. She accepted his help without making a big deal of it. She enjoyed the quiet evenings without holding on too tight. She smiled at the changes without announcing them to the world. On the last night of Ramadan, they lay in the dark listening to the compound getting quiet, and Brother Musa said, I know I am not easy. She said, I know you know. I am trying, he said. I can see that, she said. She closed her eyes with those words. She should have kept them open longer. Enjoyed the quiet, because celebration morning came. First morning after Ramadan, the whole village was getting ready. New clothes, big food, visiting people, music, the full celebration. Brother Musa woke up, lay still for 1 second, stretched his 2 arms, cracked his neck left then right, cracked each knuckle one by one, sat up, and 30 days of trouble stored back like water from a broken dam. Zeinab! The sound hit the compound like a thunderclap. 3 birds left the mango tree immediately. Alhaji Sule's teacup shook on its plate. Where is my kaftan? The big white one, where is it? Alhaji Sule put his cup down slowly, like a man who knew this was coming, but was still not happy about it. Mama Biodun, who had her door open to enjoy the cool morning air, closed it to a tiny gap so fast the curtain moved. Baba Lare, who had taken the day off and was sleeping for once in his life, sat up straight in bed, then lay back down, then sat up again. His body could not decide. Iya Agba heard the voice, closed her eyes for 3 seconds, opened them and kept fanning herself. Her face showed nothing. Her fan did not change speed. This woman was made of something stronger than normal people. Inside, Zeinab was already moving. Her hands and feet switched back to old habits like a machine that never really stopped, just paused. The kaftan is here. I pressed it last night. It is on the wrong side again. How many years have we been married? 16. 16 years and you still don't know which side I want my kaftan? Mama Biodun had her eye at the small door gap, shaking her head slowly. Alhaji Sule picked up his newspaper, put it down, looked at the fixed gate, looked back at his newspaper, could not read. By the time Brother Musa came outside, in his kaftan which Zeinab had pressed perfectly as always, every fold in place, he had already complained about the water bucket position at the well, shouted about Babalare's shoes being outside his door blocking the path, and told the whole compound that whoever swept the kitchen that morning did half a job. Then he walked to the gate he fixed with his own hands 2 weeks ago, opened it wide, stepped out, and started greeting the celebration like he owned the whole holiday. Happy celebration, my people. God bless everyone. Wonderful, wonderful. Big arms, big smile, big laugh, hugging people, patting backs. The warm, funny, lovable side of Brother Musa that the whole village outside the compound enjoyed, while only his compound knew the other half of the story. Mama Biodun stepped outside and stood next to Alhaji Sule. They both watched. He is back, said Mama Biodun. He is, said Alhaji Sule. 30 days, Alhaji. 30 good days. Yes. A pause. The gate is still fixed, she said. The gate is still fixed, he agreed. Babalare joined them, looking like a man who woke up too fast. Was he louder this morning? Like he was paying back 30 days of quiet all at once? That is exactly what happened, said Mama Biodun. 30 days of peace packed into one kaftan argument. The pressure had to go somewhere. Mama Biodun found Zeinab in the kitchen, standing at the counter. Not cooking, not cleaning, just standing with both hands flat on the counter looking at nothing. The face of a woman whose system just restarted after a shock. Mama Biodun came and stood beside her without talking. After a long quiet moment, Zeinab said, "He was so different." "He was," said Mama Biodun. "He fixed the gate. He fixed the gate. He said sorry to Babalanri about a goat that died 3 years ago." "I know. I was watching from my window." Zeinab almost smiled. "You are always watching from your window." "It is a gift," said Mama Biodun without any shame. They stood quietly. Outside, Brother Musa's big laugh came over the compound wall like a familiar sound returning after a short holiday. "Was any of it real?" Zeinab asked. Not with anger, just honestly. The question of a woman who genuinely wanted to know. Mama Biodun thought carefully before answering because this question deserved a real answer. "All of it was real," she said. "The garden eggs were real. The swept path was real. The sorry to Babalanre was real. The gate is still fixed. Go and touch it. The good in that man is real, Zeinab. It is just surrounded by a lot of other things that are also real and much louder." She paused. "This morning's kaftan noise was also real," she added, because she believed in giving the full picture. Zeinab almost smiled at that. "Thank you for the balance. I am always balanced," said Mama Biodun, who was many things but not often balanced. The celebration continued. Food, music, visiting, the whole village enjoying itself. Brother Musa was the life of the party outside, telling the best stories, making everyone laugh, being warm and generous with everyone on the road. He was so charming that Mama Biodun leaned to Alhaji Sule and whispered, "If I had not heard the kaftan shouting with my own eyes this morning, I would think this man was wonderful." Alhaji Sule whispered back, "He is wonderful. He is also terrible. He is both things at the same time. That is the mystery of Brother Musa." Mama Biodun thought about this. "That is very deep, Alhaji. I have been watching this man for 22 years. I have had time to think."
Later that night, the compound was quiet and everyone had gone inside. Brother Musa sat outside alone for a little while, the way he sometimes did when nobody was watching. He looked at the swept path, the fixed gate, the well with its new rope he had replaced 2 weeks ago and told nobody about. Then he went inside. Zeinab was still awake. He sat down and was quiet for a while. Then he said, "The month ended." "Yes," she said. "I was different this month." "You were." He was quiet again. Then, "I don't know why I cannot stay like that." Zeinab looked at her husband. Big, wide, loud, difficult, genuine, real Brother Musa. Then she said, "You don't have to change all at once. Just be that man for one more day than last year. Then one more day the year after. Every Ramadan, practice it for 30 days. 1 year you will forget to go back." Brother Musa said nothing. But the next morning, he swept the compound path again. Nobody asked him to. He just picked up the broom and swept. And Agba, sitting on her bench watching him, fanned herself and smiled, a very small smile, the kind only a person paying close attention would catch. She had been paying close attention for 22 years. She caught it.
This is the story of Brother Musa, who was humble for 30 days and showed us that change is possible. May the Ramadan season remind us all to keep the good in us a little longer each year. Thank you for watching to the end. See you in our next episode. Bye!